So today you're going to be looking at 153 sequences and series with spreadsheets. So it says since sequence and series can be written as recursive functions, spreadsheets can be used to make calculations involving sequences and series quick and efficient. So in this activity, you should better understand the power of spreadsheets in implementing recursive thought. So I'm going to show you a little bit about how to use spreadsheets to help you answer some of these questions. So some of you might have never used Google Sheets before, so I'm going to try my best to help you. And you could always rely on kind of paper and pencil method too. So if we're going to answer number one, so the first thing we need to do is think about what type of pattern this is. So it's going up by 2 every time. So this is an arithmetic sequence. If I wanted to keep filling this out, right, 5, 7, 9, 11, those are only the first 6 terms. So if I wanted to generate the 10th term on my own, I could just keep adding 2, right? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. So then it would be 13, 15, 17. So the 10th term would be 19. So that wasn't so bad. But the 50th term, or the sum of the first 10 terms, adding up all those terms, or the sum of the first 50 terms might get pretty cumbersome to just add up with paper and pencil. So I want to show you how you can use a spreadsheet to help you answer some of these questions. So I'm going to do the best I can showing you my computer screen. I think you'll be able to see it. So I've pulled up my spreadsheet. So in the first box, I'm going to start entering my sequence. So I've entered a 1 in the top box. In the second box, I want to tell the spreadsheet what to do. So I'm going to type the equal sign, and the equal sign tells the spreadsheet that I'm about to tell it something important. So what do I want to happen in this second row? So I'm typing equals. I'm going to click on the cell above it, which is cell A1. When I click on it, I'm going to get A1 showing up in the second cell. And I want to hit the plus sign, and I want to add 2. So in the second box, it says equals A1 plus 2. And if you hit enter, you should get a 3 in that second box. So now I have 1 and then 3. The second box is where the formula is. So you're going to put your cursor on the second box, and you're going to move your cursor down to this little square in the bottom right corner. When you hit on that square, you get a plus sign with your cursor. And when you click on that plus sign and drag it down, you can drag it down as far as you want. So I just dragged it down the first 10 cells, and it's telling me that the 10th term is 19. And if I want to figure out the sum of those 10 cells, what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the first 10 cells with my cursor. And if you look up here, you're going to want to find this sigma symbol. So it's a capital E. And if you go in the drop-down menu for that capital E, if you hit sum, it'll tell you, hey, do you want the sum of a cell A1 to A10? Yes, I do. If I hit enter, it tells me the sum of the first 10 rows would be 100. So your answer to the sum of the first 10 terms is 100. But I don't want to stop there. So I'm going to delete the 100. I'm going to go back up to cell 2 because that's where my formula is. I'm going to highlight with a cursor that bottom right corner, and I'm going to drag that all the way down to cell 50. So I've dragged it down to cell 50, and it's telling me that the 50th term of this sequence is the number 99. So the 50th term is 99. I have all those cells highlighted. Uh-oh, I might have just undone something. All right, let me just re-highlight cell 1 up through cell 50. If I go back over to that sigma capital E symbol and I click sum, do you want the sum of row A1 to A50? Yes, I do. Enter. 2,500 is the answer. So the sum of the first 50 terms is 2,500. All right, so if you're looking at, hopefully you can see this, okay? It's hard for me to see what you can see. So if you're looking at your worksheet, the second set is a set that goes 1, 4, 9. So that is actually a different pattern than what we had before. So let's think about what type of pattern that one is. I'm going to delete what I have on here. All right, so how am I generating a pattern like 1, 4, 9, right? So this is where I'm at. So generating a pattern 1, 4, 9. I'm adding 3 and then I'm adding 5 and I'm not multiplying by anything. Do you recognize that these are perfect squares? So if this is 1 squared, then 2 squared, then 3 squared, what do you suppose would go in these next spots? 4 squared is 16. 5 squared is 25. 6 squared is 36. So I need to be able to tell the spreadsheet how to generate these terms. Basically, it's your n value squared, right? So I'm going to use the spreadsheet to generate, well, I know my 10th term, right? Because 10 squared is 100. So I know the 10th term. I know the 50th term, actually. 50 times 50 is 2,500. How am I going to get the sum of the first 10 terms or the sum of the first 50 terms, though? So that I might want to use the spreadsheet for. So I'm going to go back over to the spreadsheet here. Maybe if I try to get closer to that top cell. Okay, hopefully you can see this as I minimize my window. Okay, so I want to put a 1. Actually, I can just enter my formula. So I want to tell the spreadsheet, maybe I can't do it. Okay, so I'm going to do 1, and then I'm going to have to enter the numbers 1 through 50. So see how I'm entering 1, 2, 3? I need to tell the computer what my n values are. So term 1, 2, 3, 4. If you highlight the terms 1, 2, 3, and 4, without even putting in a formula, if you get that little cross for the drop-down menu, see how when you draw that down, it can continue that pattern for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way down to cell 50 because that's how far I need to go. All these cells are representing right now is what term I'm on. All right, so I'm going to enter my formula in this cell. So the equal sign, remember, tells the computer that you're about to enter something important, like a formula. What do I want it to do? I want to take this cell and square that number. So I'm gonna push on the cell that's over here. So click on it, and I'm gonna square that number. So the raised to the power is above the 6. So shift 6 raised to the second power, right? That gives me 1. I'm going to drag that formula down, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36. So I'm going to first just drag it down to the first 10 cells because I want the sum of those 10 numbers. Hit the E drop-down menu, sum. It's telling me, do I want sum of B1 to B10? Yes, I do. 385 is your sum. That's the first 10 terms, 385. Then I'm going to get rid of that 385 number. I'm going to go back up to my formula in cell 1, drag it down all 50 cells. So my last number is 2,500. 50 times 50 is 2,500. Now that they're all highlighted, I'm going to find the sum of B1 to B50, enter. So it's 42,925. 42,925. So I think you can figure out how to do question number 3. Set up a similar type pattern. This time it's going to be a geometric sequence. I'm going to skip down to number 4. Number 4 is the Fibonacci sequence. I'm just going to delete these here. Okay, so I'm going to go back up to the top. So the Fibonacci sequence starts 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. I'm just going to go ahead and enter those first 5 terms. I need to state a formula for row number 6. So what do I want the formula to be? take the cell that comes 2 before it and add the cell that comes 1 before it. So I'm going to hit the equal sign. I'm going to highlight cell A4, the number 3. So it says A4. I'm going to hit the plus sign, and then I'm going to highlight the cell underneath it. Do I want to add A4 plus A5 together? Yes, I do. I hit enter. Great, it gave me the right answer, 8. Let's drag that down and see if I get 13. I do. 5 plus 8 is 13. So my formula must be working. So now I'm getting down to 10. So number 10 is 55. So I'm down at number 4. 8, 13, 21. So the 10th term is 55. So in number 4, it asks you something different. It doesn't want the sum of the first 10 terms. It wants the ratio of the 10th term to the 9th term. So the 10th term is 55. The 9th term is 34. So you're going to take 55 and divide by 34. So 55 divided by 34 is, 55 divided by 34 comes out to be 1.62. You should be able to drag this down the rest of the way, find the 50th term, and then find the ratio of the 50th term to the 49th term. All right, and then similar for number 5. Number 5 is also a Fibonacci related sequence. All right, so I'm going to flip over to the back now. So on the back page, part 3, they're showing you kind of how to set up your an auditorium problem. So there's 30 seats in the first row of an auditorium, then 34 seats, then 38 seats, and you continue that pattern. There's a total of 20 rows in the auditorium. Make a spreadsheet. So we're going to go all the way up to row number 20. And then I should be able to figure out how many seats are in the 20th row, how many seats are total in the auditorium, right? My running total. And then in which row is seat 223 located? Well, like for example, if I asked you where is the seat 100 located, it would have to be in row, row number 3, right? Because there's 102 seats all the way through row number 3, right? Where is seat number 80 located? Also in row 3, right? Row 2 only has up through 64. So we're going to set up, I don't even title my rows. So I would just start with like 1, 2, 3. And then in this cell, so let's set it up over here. See if I can get you to see it. I hope that you can see that okay. All right. So I'm just going to delete this column out of there. So 1, 2, 3. Remember, if I highlight those 3 numbers and put this little plus sign there, I can drag it down. I know there's a total of 20 rows, so I'm just going to go as far as 20. And then in the first row, I have 30 seats. 30. So I type 30. What am I going to tell the second row here? I'm going to say it equals the row before it. Click on the number 30, which is B1, and you're shift adding, so plus sign, 4 seats every time. Hit enter. 34 shows up. Go back to 34. Hit the plus sign at the bottom. Drag it all the way down to row 20. 34, 38, 42. Great, the pattern is working. Now this is going to be my running total. So far, I only have 30 seats total. So I'm just going to enter 30. Now, how do I get the running total for row 2? I want to take these 30 seats and add these 34 seats. So I'm going to type the equal sign. I'm going to click on the cell that's directly above it that has this 30 here. I'm going to hit plus, and I'm going to click on the cell here that has 34. So I'm taking the running total right above it and adding the cell next to it. And then if I hit equals, okay, give me 64. So go back up, drag that cell down to the bottom, and you should be able to then answer the rest of the questions for part 3. All right, so now I'm just going to show you how to set up part 4. So for part 4, I can leave this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it says I'm putting $100 every month into the account. So this row, I'm just going to put 100, and I'm going to go back up to that 100. And if I just do that drop down plus sign, it'll put 100 all the way down that column. If I go over here, you are earning, let's see, it says 0.5% monthly growth. These are my months. So I don't earn anything in the first month, right? So I'm just going to type the first row. Okay. So the first month I invest 100. I haven't made anything yet. I end the month with $100. Then the second month I invest an additional $100. I make 0.5% on this total over here. So I'm going to type equals 0.005 for 0.5%, right? 0.01 would be 1%. I'm going to hit the times key, which is the asterisk above the 8. And I'm going to click on this cell that has 100 in it, because that's my total investment so far. Great, I just made 50 cents. My new total for the end of the month, I'm going to click here. I'm going to tell it equals the month before, my new $100, and my interest. So I'm going to type equals. I'm going to click on the month that was above it, hit the plus sign, my new investment, hit the plus sign, my interest, hit enter. $200.50. So let's drag these down and see if they work. So I want to show you something that's going to happen. So when I drag this one down, it says 0 for now because I haven't dragged this one down yet. So I'm going to go drag this one down now. And hopefully, let's see, 301.5025. So I know my values are coming out correctly. So this represents how much is in the account at the end of month 4. It counts the initial month's balance plus the interest plus the new $100 that I'm putting in. So now be careful. All I did was drag it down to month number 20. Question 1 asks, how much will Shelby deposit in 20 years? That's deposit, so this column. Now, you have to think about how many months are in 20 years. So you might have to extend this column a little bit further. And then it says, how much will her investment be worth in 20 years? That would be this column. So don't forget to do 20 times 12 to figure out what row you have to look in, right? You're going to do the sum of all of the $100, and then you're going to look at that cumulative investment at the bottom. So you're going to take a picture of the finished front page and back page of 153 and post it in Google Classroom. And hopefully that was enough to have success on spreadsheets. Email me if you have questions.